From Krull to Thralls, nerds like a lot of things, but there's something they love above all else, and that is correcting people. This is Actually. Joining us today, we have Maude Garrett.
Hello.
We have Erika Ishii.
Hi, hello. It's good to be back.
Hello, it's good to have you back. And we have Carolyn Page.
Hi. I didn't come to make friends. I came to win.
Coming in with the right hyper-competitive attitude to just destroy everyone here. Well, thank you to the three of you for coming to play Actually with us today. Erika and Carolyn have been here before. Maude, this is your first time here. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
The rules of this game are very simple. I have here a stack of questions, or statements rather. These are false statements, incorrect statements about things you might know about. It's up to you to find what's wrong, buzz in, and correct me. The only two rules are that you must precede all your corrections with the phrase, actually, sort of Jeopardy style. If you don't, I won't give you the point, even if you're right. And you can interrupt me whenever you want. As soon as you hear what's wrong, you can just buzz in and get right in there. That's pretty much all there is to it. Let's take a look at our first statement here. Want to give your D&D party a particularly tricky encounter? Have them fight a lich. A lich is a powerful undead spellcaster whose soul resides in a phylactery. Thus destroying its body will not kill the lich. If you want to go a little easier on your players, a demi-lich is only half as powerful as a regular lich, as the name implies. Maude has buzzed in.
Actually, a demi-lich? I've never even stumbled across, and I don't think they exist.
Well, that is incorrect, I'm sorry to say.
Actually, a demi-lich is more powerful than a regular lich.
That is correct. Generally regarded as more powerful. That point will go to Carolyn. A demi-lich is just as, if not more powerful than a regular lich. It's certainly not half as powerful or half of a lich. A demi-lich is a lich that is just a skull at this point.
Whoa! Of course it's more powerful. That's the most powerful part of the body is the head.
It is sort of, it's such a funny concept because it's kind of like, it's sort of like the seven Horcruxes kind of thing, where it's like if you imagine it's like, okay, I'll put my life force in a phylactery, and then the lich just keeps Mary Kondoing its whole its whole body, being like, what do I need this stupid body for? This isn't spark and joy anymore. Let's get rid of that too. And just cutting down on everything until it's just a floating powerful skull.
I think doing a whole KonMari D&D adventure would be very fun.
No, absolutely not. I always play rogues. I'm always looting. I will not play in your campaign. I'm so sorry.
You're constantly forcing players to clear out their inventory. It's like, okay, now, do you really need this crossbow? Okay.
Oh my gosh, you actually do encumbrance and you weigh every item?
Does it spark joy? Do a charisma check. Well, that point will go to Carolyn for identifying that demi-liches are in fact more powerful. Here's our next statement. Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars is an animated series based on the comic Bucky O'Hare. Bucky is a green anthropomorphic hare who captains a spaceship, the Righteous Indignation. His crew consists of a cat named Jenny, a Betelgeusian berserker baboon named Bruce, Pigma Dengar, a pig, and Dead-Eye Duck, a one-eyed duck. I have Carolyn buzzed in.
Actually, the classic character Bucky O'Hare is not green.
Bucky O'Hare is green.
Bucky.
Erika.
Actually, and we're gonna brute force our way through this, everybody. It's not based on a comic. There was the comic that was based on the TV show.
Incorrect. No, the TV show was based on the I want to say it was a French comic, maybe? I don't know why I'm thinking that. But yes, it is based on a comic book.
Actually, I don't think that the wars were with the toads.
No, they were the Toad Wars.
Okay.
That is, what I was looking for is Pigma Dengar is actually from Star Fox, not from Bucky O'Hare. It's from a completely different franchise of animals in space fighting in a big intergalactic battle. Saltzman, did you have an addition to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say another correct answer would have been that Willie Do It the human on the crew was missing. I know because I loved the show as a child. And I just wanted to say that there were two possible answers.
The show sounds wild.
Actually, it's not called Star Fox in Australia. It's called Lilat Wars.
Really?
Oh,
What
yeah.
wars?
Lilat. Lylat. Lilat Wars.
Was there already something called Star Fox or something?
I have no idea why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they were conflicted with, but Star Fox was a trademark issue in Australia and in Europe, so they had to change the name.
Oh, I wonder what it is in Europe.
In Europe, they call it Star Wing, is what I think I just saw.
Whoa.
Well, no points for that one, but we'll move right along to our next one. Good old reliable rock. Nothing beats rock. Or does it? In Pokemon, rock may seem strong, but in fact, with 6 weaknesses, no other Pokemon type is vulnerable to as many other types. Rock is weak against fighting, grass, ground, steel, and water. Carolyn's buzzed in, yeah.
Actually, rock is not weak against fighting.
That is incorrect.
Actually, rock is not the weakest element. It's fairy.
You've kind of found what's wrong here.
Okay.
I said that no other Pokemon type is as vulnerable to as many other types, but that's not true. It's not fairy, so I'll give you the point unless either Erika or Carolyn can tell me.
Actually, it's grass type that is the most vulnerable.
That is correct. That is the one. Grass is also vulnerable to 6 other types, so it is equally as weak as rock is. So also, you may want to check me on this, because when I was looking at this question just a moment ago, I was like, oh, I think one of these is maybe wrong. But what I have here is it's weak against bug, fire, flying, dragon, poison, and also weak against itself. Grass is weak against grass. Although I also had ice in here at some point, so something here is a little wrong.
That actually that's the only one. Fire and ice are the only ones that it's actually weak against.
Yeah,
Baby bug.
I'm running into contradictory information, which makes me think it's changed in different editions. But I see, from what I'm looking at from the Niantic site, is saying bug, fire, flying, grass, poison, dragon, and steel.
Ooh.
Steel.
All right,
Yeah.
well, that's plenty. There's almost certainly something wrong here, and the viewers will correct me, and that's fine. But for right now, the point is going to Erika. This will bring us to our fan question. This was submitted to us by one of our viewers. This comes to us from either Kahotex or Kajotex. I don't know how the name is pronounced, but there it is. Thank you very much for this submission. Saruman the White, one of the 5 Istari, was regarded as the highest of the Istari order. He voluntarily accepted the influence of Sauron when he used the Palantir out of curiosity. Soon, the region around his mighty tower Isengard decayed into a factory for war and the origin of the Uruk-hai, an improved type of orc. Maude is buzzed in.
What did you say? What did you say about he used something out of curiosity?
The Palantir.
Nah. Curiosity was not killed that cat.
Nope, that's not what we're looking for.
Actually, the Uruk-hai were not invented by Saruman.
They were, yeah. That's not correct. He pulled up his old little orc brew, stuck him in a big old pot, pulled out some Uruk-hai, and then that's what you got there.
Actually, there were not 5 Istari.
There were.
As a plan B here, if no one gets a point,
Yes.
if I give you a really convincing Uruk-hai impersonation, could I get a point?
I do really want to hear it, but I don't know if I want to give you a point for it. I'm going to call this one unless...
Wait, okay, let me just talk through this. Actually, the tower itself is not Isengard.
That's correct!
And that was my Uruk-hai impersonation!
I knew there was something.
The tower's name is Orthanc.
Yes, that is what we're looking for there.
Yes.
It almost drove Erika mad, but we got there.
I knew it.
It was in there. Well, I'll go ahead. I'll give Erika the point for that. This will bring us to our first shiny question of the game. And this is a new game we're trying called We're Not So Different, You and I. In just a moment here, I'm going to put up 6 images, and there's something uniting these 6 things, something that they all have in common. The first person who can identify what these, in this case, characters have in common, will get the point for this question. There we have it. What unites these 6 characters? Maude has buzzed in.
They are all follically challenged.
You know what? Baron Afanas in the upper left corner has some hair, and certainly the middle bottom Yi certainly has a lot of hair. So that's not what we're looking for. Erika, do you know what the answer is?
Actually, they're all played by actor and legend Doug Jones.
That is correct. All of these characters are played by Doug Jones. How many of these characters can you name?
So I think he does Abe Sapien, the Pale Man. Is that from Tank Girl, one of the kangaroo guys?
That's very funny because it's not, but Doug Jones does play a kangaroo man in Tank Girl. This is a different kangaroo man that Doug Jones plays.
Come on, man.
This is Yi from Warriors of Virtue.
I would not have known that. Star Trek Discovery character is I forget the name. He's fantastic at it. I don't know whether on the top right.
It's from Buffy, actually. It's
Yes.
it's the Shush episode where they steal the screams.
Top left is familiar, but I don't know that one.
Top left is Baron Afanas from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Of course. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, Doug Jones is amazing.
It's a pretty incredible career, and especially and what a widely varied visual career, you know. Even just being able to put these all up here and be like, yep, this is the same guy.
This is one of those old-timey headshot reels with the different it's like a cowboy. Here's me as a doctor.
Yeah, do the quadrant. It's here's me as the pale man. If you ever need this again, I can do this.
I'm still confused about bottom middle as an Australian.
If you don't remember the movie Warriors of Virtue, it was about a bunch of kangaroo people who know karate and use it to wield magic and something.
I know what I'm watching tonight. That looks incredible. I'm sold.
I think I saw this movie in theaters when I was a kid. And I remember it being one of the first times I was I don't think that was good. When you're a kid and everything's cool. Yeah. It was just sort of I don't know about that one. Well, that point will go to Erika. Here's our next statement here. We're back to regular old actually questions. The plot of the anime Steins Gate revolves around the existence of text messages that can be sent back in time. These D-mails, so named for the down quarks that power them, are sent via microwave phone, and while messages could theoretically be sent back hundreds of years, they're only receivable if you have a phone or pager. Erika, yeah.
Actually, it wasn't just for pagers or cell phones. It was cauldrons or smoke signals or carrier pigeons that still could receive D mails.
I love that idea of just back in time, someone sends up a smoke signal and just an eggplant emoji floating up over the horizon. What the hell is that? And no one has any idea what the hell is going on. But no, that's not in fact the answer.
Actually, they're not powered by down quarks.
That is correct. They are called D-mails, but they're not called D-mails because of down quarks. Any idea why they're called D-mails?
Because they only send dick pics.
No.
Demons?
We found a way to send text messages through time, but only dick pics. Why did you invent this? No one wants this.
You can write a message. We stopped 9/11, but
this is all you
can. And I sent them a picture.
They are called D-mails. The D in D-mail stands for DeLorean, for its time travel ability. It is D-mail for DeLorean mail.
What?
It's a car that will forever be associated with time travel.
That's meta.
Yeah. too self-referential. And that's the only weird thing that's ever happened in anime.
Actually.
Well, that point will go to Carolyn. Here's our next statement. You can play Magic the Gathering without ever delving into the lore, but the cards all refer to people, places, and events in a larger story. Phyrexia appears across several expansions, and you can play the game without ever knowing that Phyrexia is a plane of 9 nested spheres that was once called Baitor until Yawgmoth arrived and assumed total control. Maude is buzzed in.
I'm just looking for a point. And when you said 9 realms, it stood out to me, and I'm going to say that is incorrect.
That is not what we're looking for, no.
Good Lord.
Actually, it was before the Sundering. Phyrexia was not called Baitor.
That is correct. Baitor is the name of a very similar nested 9-sphere hell planet from Dungeons and Dragons. Phyrexia was a different place, it did have like a different role, but it wasn't Baitor. That's just 2 very similar places across fantasy, both sort of pulling from Dante's Inferno and this idea of like 9 levels of hell, but in a very real sort of sci-fi kind of way. Carolyn, you've kind of delved into the lore of Magic the Gathering a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm not very good at the card game, but I love the lore.
Do you have a favorite expansion or card or anything?
Well, specifically a commander that I run, the commander, it's called Sharum the Hegemon, and it's this giant sphinx, and there's little tiny priest guys like worshiping it, and she's got this big, huge champagne glass full of like blue champagne, and I always just really like that.
I love her.
Something to strive towards, you know?
So you
Like,
wanna be-
Yeah, exactly. It's
You
like,
put it on-
that's what I want to be.
Put it on your dream board. It's like, I will eventually get there. It's going to take some time, but I eventually will be a giant sphinx with hundreds of followers and a giant glass of blue champagne.
Is that too much to ask for? Come on. There she is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
There's the campaign. Oh, there it
That's
is.
a much-
There's the flute.
That's how I'm trying to be.
Do you think they just brought her that drink?
No, they're supposed to bring riddles.
Maybe it's riddle juice. That's where she
Yeah.
gets the riddles. She milks the riddle berries and then she ferments it, and that's how you get riddle juice.
I thought you were going to say if you say riddle juice 3 times, it just appears. Well, that point will go to Carolyn, and we'll move on to our next statement. In the book, I Am Legend, Robert Neville is the last survivor of a pandemic that has killed much of humanity and rendered the rest into zombies. Neville learns that a strain of bacteria is responsible for these apparently supernatural creatures, and that there are in fact 2 different kinds, the infected but conscious living, and the dead who seem to be reanimated by the bacteria. Erika.
Actually, they're less like zombies and more vampires.
That's correct. That's what we're going for.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's more vampire rules.
Yes, we're so used to zombie apocalypses, it feels right, but specifically in I Am Legend, it is kind of a vampire apocalypse. They suck blood, they're weak to garlic, they're immune to bullet wounds, I think they can't come out during the sun.
Yeah.
It's straight up vampire rules, and vampire apocalypse is not something we see all that often, and I think we should see more of it.
Yeah, it's funny. There are like different theories, like media critical theories about why there's a rise of vampires or zombies at different time periods, like politically, their political administrations and power like will influence whether vampires are more popular or zombies are more popular, because zombies are kind of like the idea of the fear of loss of control. And so, the idea of like, you can prepare for zombies, you can be a survivor, and then like, but then people are the scary ones, and then for vampires, it's like sort of like fear,
Little
like
sexy.
sexy. It's a sex thing. Vampires are a sex thing.
That is the direct quote from this episode.
Yeah, vampires are a sex thing. I was laughing just because it was like, just because of how blunt it was of being like the zombies are all about loss of control. They're mindless. They're a force to be reckoned with. You can't argue with them. You just have to survive them, and that's it. Vampires are sexy.
It's pretty simple. You read Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's like, oh, it's about being afraid of, sexual intercourse and sexuality.
What's the one with the sad boys?
Twilight.
Twilight?
Yeah.
Twilight. That's all an allegory for losing your virginity.
That's what I was
Sure.
That whole book was written.
Is that why she had 2 choices? Because that's not how mine went.
Two excellent choices.
Yeah.
Not just some dweeb in cargo shorts with a peach fuzz mustache.
Oh, now come on. We didn't come here to be attacked by you.
Yeah, Trav, this feels a little personal.
Yeah.
They were sweatpants, not cargo shorts. Come on.
All right, well, that Erika will get that point for identifying that it's a vampire apocalypse, not a zombie apocalypse. And this will bring us to our next shiny question. This is a game that we call Needs More Pixels. So the way this works is we've taken an iconic shot from TV or movies, and we have pixelated it so much that you are very unlikely to be able to tell what it actually is. We have about 5 or 6 maybe levels of pixelation here. We want you to identify what this image is from. The twist on this is that you're only going to get one guess. So if you see the pixelated image and you're all like, I have no idea what the fuck that is, if you all pass, we'll get 1 level clearer.
Got it.
So it'll keep getting clearer, which will make it easier for you, but also for your opponents. So if you want to venture that early guess, you can, but you only get the 1 guess. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at that image. What is this crazy pixelated image that we have here? What is this? So you can either use your
pass.
1 guess
I think we
or
pass.
pass. Erika's
I
passing.
think we passed.
Passing. All right, let's go 1 level clearer.
That's not very helpful.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I say we pass again.
Yeah.
All right, let's go 1 level clearer. Any guesses on this one, or do you want to go a level clearer?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Let's
pass.
go 1 level clear.
Erika.
E.T.
This is E.T. Yes, this is E.T. flying past the moon. Let's go a level clearer. Let's see if we can get to that. There it is. There's E.T. flying past the moon on the bike.
Iconic.
Sure, it was just a weird white curly cue for a while, but it is E.T. now. That point will go to Erika. Point for Erika there.
Just for clarity's sake, just checking, I'm still not on the board at all.
I believe that is the case.
Yeah, good, cool.
But you know what? We'll revisit that Uruk-hai impression at the end. We'll see.
I've let that go already.
Maybe we can get a point there.
No, I want to stay 0. It feels good.
now this is what I want. Let's go ahead and go back to regular old questions. Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem are a musical group of Muppets consisting of Dr. Teeth, Animal, Floyd Pepper, Janice, Zoot, and Lips. You can see Dr. Teeth and some combination of band members performing Can You Picture That in the Muppet Movie, Nightlife in The Great Muppet Caper, or playing in the orchestra pit on The Muppet Show. Carolyn's buzzed in.
Actually, Floyd Pepper is not in the band.
Floyd Pepper is in the band, yeah.
Actually, they're not in the orchestra pit on The Muppet Show.
You are close enough that I might give you the point. I think I'll go ahead and give you the point. You're a little bit off, which is that the band is in the orchestra pit on the Muppet Show, with the exception that Dr. Teeth does not play with the band Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem in the orchestra pit on the Muppet Show. Instead, Rolf leads them there for some reason, even though it's his band. His name's on it. He should be there.
But Rolf is like the classical musician and stuff. So,
Yes.
like, if they're in the orchestra pit, and he would. It would make sense that he'd be conducting.
It makes sense. You're trying to steal, Erika. You're trying to steal his band from him, and I don't appreciate it.
What is Rolf supposed to do? You know, I mean, he's normally sitting at the piano.
It does feel like it's sort of like it hints at like drama in the band, like some like side story. It's like if you really pay attention, you can see that like there's like a weird Fleetwood Mac thing going on with Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem.
Animal's just like too much. Like he's like they can't take him on tour anymore. He's got to go to rehab.
There's an intervention every day for Animal. It's like, buddy, listen, you have to calm down.
Looking back, they were all heavily on drugs, weren't they?
Pretty much, yeah. Hey, wait a minute.
Fucking backstage.
We're slowly building up this dream board of Janice and this giant sphinx with champagne. Together, we're gonna build it. Like, this is the perfect life.
I love it.
Perfect hair, on drugs, worshippers, blue champagne. We got the whole deal. Here is our next question. This is on Disney stuff. John Watson, narrator of The Great Mouse Detective, is also a character in the movie, who has just returned from a lengthy service of the Mouse Queen's 66th Regiment in Afghanistan, and soon befriends the famous Basil of Baker Street. Erika, yeah.
Actually, it's Queen Mousetoria is the regent's name.
I don't know if we get her name. I think she's referred to as the Mouse Queen.
No, it's Queen Mousetoria. my
Wait, it's actually not canon that it's Mousetoria. That's a fandom name.
What?
Whoa!
Deep cut, Erika. I'm honestly more impressed that you know that.
Yeah.
But
My life!
Actually, it's not Basil of Baker Street.
Incorrect.
Actually, only the Baker Street part. Is that taken directly from Sherlock Holmes?
It is taken directly from Sherlock Holmes, yeah.
Actually, it's not John Watson.
That's correct.
John Watson is from
Pocahontas?
They live in like Sherlock Holmes's like little mouse hole, but he's got another name, just in the way that Basil of Baker Street is supposed to be like Sherlock Holmes, but he's not Sherlock Holmes. He's a doctor. He is a doctor, but he's not Dr. Watson.
Scream it out, Erika.
This is all correct. I'm just loving the process. It's like, if I just scream details enough, I'll eventually scream my way to the right answer.
I call it the Brennan, and it works.
This is making me picture Erika taking SATs when she was in high school and just being like,
do I have to come up with the name or?
No, you're all right. I just wanted to see if you would get there. We'll give you the point, but that is correct. He's not John Watson. The mouse is named David Q. Dawson.
Right.
And it is Dr. David Q. Dawson. And it is, as you said, like, they are like exact perfect mice equivalents of the humans that live above them. They just have different names, but in every other respect, they are identical.
Right, and so Basil of Baker Street is Basil because of Basil Rathbone, who most famously played Sherlock Holmes before Benedict Cumberbatch became the Sherlock Holmes.
There is something about the logic of that feels so like I more readily accept going like, oh, we're just going to do Sherlock Holmes, but with mice. And be like, okay, sure, fine, mice version of Sherlock Holmes. But they're like, no. We're in a world where Sherlock Holmes does exist. It's just that every piece of history that has ever occurred, including apparently the war in Afghanistan, that also happened, but with mice. And now they're coming back and they're operating their own parallel universe at the same point of ours, where everything's the same except the names. Like what?
It could be fanciful and a weird thing that they did, a weird choice, or it could be a lot of the Sherlock Holmes estate is sort of in dispute.
They're very litigious estate.
That's actually probably the answer. I prefer to believe that they just have a crazy parallel universe where it's like the world of mice, exactly the same, but the names are different.
When was the last time you saw that? Because like the reason that we have a whole generation of furries is like Robin Hood and that sexy can dancer in like can
like the underworld where it's
like there was no reason that mouse needed to go that hard, but she did.
Like the mice from Mars for me, that awakened my sexuality. They were ripped mice.
Okay, first animal you were sexually attracted to. Everyone go around. Mine was Scar.
Gotta be my dog. What? That's what we were doing. We were talking about the animals.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
Think how many hours someone spent animating this sequence.
Oh, I think about that a lot.
Well, that point will go to Erika, who could not scream her way to the specific, but screamed her way to the thing that was wrong, and that's good enough. Well, we will move on to our final shiny question here. Our last shiny question. This is a game called What's Wrong with This Picture? We're going to show you an image. It will be up to you to tell us what's wrong with that image. First person to buzz in and give me the answer will get the point. Let's go ahead and take a look at that image. Erika has buzzed in.
There should not be that little black band at the end of Pikachu's tail.
That is correct. There should not be a black band at the end of Pikachu's tail. Let's see the next image that shows what it should look like. Yeah, that's what it should look like. This is one of those weird like Mandela effect things where people insist that Pikachu should have like a little black stripe on the end of his tail, but Pikachu does not. That isn't there, hasn't ever been there, but people still insist that they remember a Pikachu with a black-tipped tail.
Fun fact about Pikachus, lady Pikachus have heart-shaped tails.
Lady
Aw,
Pikachu,
that's really cute.
instead of like
They have like at the end of their tails, it's a heart instead of just a straight line.
Oh,
hey, this is a family show, Saltzman. What are we doing here?
Get that smut off the screen.
Eyelashes.
Sparks are flying.
Yes, that's my humor.
That point will go to Erika. We'll go ahead. We'll move on to our final question here. Our final question of the game. Our last question, as always, concerns real life skills. Nothing to do with any of the nerd shit we've been talking about, just something that you might want to know in real life. So perhaps the most important question of all. It can be easy to confuse many coffee drinks, but you've all been drinking coffee for years, and you know the difference. The latte, cafe au lait, cappuccino, macchiato, and the flat white are all variations of mixtures of espresso and milk. The latte uses steamed milk, the cappuccino and macchiato foamed milk, the cafe au lait warm milk, and the flat white lightly frosted milk. Carolyn.
Actually, the cafe au lait actually uses condensed milk.
Incorrect.
Flat white, frosted milk. Flat whites are available in Australia, and I have them all the time. So actually, I'm gonna say the flat white milk is not frosted.
At least the stores I was looking at, it did call for lightly chilled frosted milk. So, something a slightly colder milk to go on top.
That's
not what we're
actually
looking for.
incorrect. Michael, get on that. Get this bitch a point.
Hey.
Yeah, flat whites are just like lattes.
Yeah,
like milkier
so
lattes.
I used to work at a cafe, and cappuccino is full froth. Latte is mostly milk with a little bit of froth at the top, and a flat white is just milk, all hot milk, no froth. Oh my God.
We'll go ahead and count it.
She got it. She got the point. The 1 point where it actually mattered.
We'll give you the point. I was looking at a chart that called for frosted. The thing I was looking for was that a cafe au lait doesn't call for espresso. The rest are all espresso drinks. The cafe au lait usually calls for filter coffee instead of espresso. So we would have accepted that.
Know what they are.
But we'll give that point to Maude, and that will get Maude on the board right here at the end with the most important question of all.
Is on the board.
Making Erika our winner for this episode.
Yay! Thank you.
Well, that's all we have today. Thank you all for playing with us. Thank you for watching. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections here on Actually.